Welcome back everybody. Today I'm doing my 2025 Swimbait arsenal video, and this is the first time I'm doing this because this time last year I owned one glide bait and it was this Spro Chad Shad right here. I absolutely love this. How many fish I caught in this in a pond, and I dove straight into the whole thing, and now I have a lot of them. So I'm going to share with you guys what I have, what I use it for, if it works for where I live in the country, which is the Midwest. I'm not far enough north where you get smallmouth or pike, but I'm not far enough south where you get smallmouth again down south or big largemouth. So I'm in the middle. I'm going to talk about all these, if I have success or not. And then also before I talk about these, I'm going to show my 3 glide bait or swim bait setups that I have too, because I want to be able to mention those throughout the video and show which rod I throw what bait on. So I'm gonna get right into the setup. Now I just did a rod and reel arsenal video, so if you already saw these setups in that video a few days ago, then you can skip ahead to just the baits. But to start off here, I'm going to be showing you guys close-ups outside. I'm going to film everything in the snow. It'll be really cool tomorrow. This is my first setup I got. So first off, I started throwing the just Chad Shad. You don't really need a glide bait rod for this. I was throwing it on a jig rod. Lost a lot of fish, but it worked. Then I was like, I ended up just going straight to a reel I'd been looking at for a long time before I even got into glide baits at all, which is the Antares Monster Drive 2018. Always wanted these. It's always been like the end game top tier reel I always wanted. And then I got it and was also using it for that on a jig rod. I just used this as a jig reel for a while. I just used it as a conventional reel, and then I ended up getting this Leviathan. This is the heavy, and it is the Omega Swimbait, and this thing is absolutely awesome. This rod is super parabolic. It's super bendy. I absolutely love throwing stuff like the Tiny Clash and things like that on this rod, so I'm not going to talk too long about this setup, but I got 20-pound fluoro on here. Next is my other glide rod. This is the same one. This is the Leviathan Omega Swimbait, and this is the extra heavy. This is an amazing canine and baits like that rod. I know some people like throwing them on the heavy, but it's a little much. On here I've got a 2017 Shimano X-Sense DC. This reel is absolutely awesome. It is a saltwater reel, so the spool's not huge because a lot of guys use braid on that out there in Japan in saltwater with a leader, but I might eventually go to that on this one. But 20-pound fluoro on here again. This is 8 foot, same with the last one. This setup is awesome. This reel is in the same body as the Antares, so it's a great platform. Next up is my one soft swim setup, and this is a Daiwa Ryoga 2018, and it is spooled with 20-pound fluorocarbon also, and this is a Leviathan Alpha soft swim rod. This is the 8 foot extra heavy, probably too heavy for what I use it for, like the Citizen 7 a lot. I need to get like a Tyrant 10 to throw on this because that'd be about perfect too. Absolutely love the setup, smoothest reel of all time. Love it. This is in the 5 gear ratio because a lot of times here you got to slow down a lot with the soft baits, so if you guys hear me talking about any soft bait in the video, it is on this setup. Now onto the baits. Like I said, it's going to be close-ups of each one of these tomorrow whenever I have outdoor light, and I'm going to start off with my biggest ones and go down to the smallest ones. So my most recent pickup and one of my biggest I have is this is the KGB Baits Legend Reborn, and this is in the super sauce color. I threw this around the other day in like 40-degree water with my dad and had a 3 or 4 pounder come and smoke it. Didn't get any hooks, but it gets bit even in freezing water, so definitely excited to try this in the spring. I've always wanted a real resin one of these ever since this bait, which is the Spro version. Ever since I got one of these last year when they came out, it was my first lure. I've wanted one of these, the bigger version. This thing is 9 inches. It is awesome. The action is great. I definitely recommend this. Even here in the Midwest, this is not big, but it gets bit. Next we have a lure that everybody knows. This is the DRT Clash 9. This is in the Spectre color. I've caught several fish in this. Nothing over 3.5 pounds unfortunately, but I've thrown it an absolute ton here in the ponds. I haven't had a ton of chances to throw it in several lakes around here unfortunately, but I got this in the summer and am really excited to use it this spring and summer again. Throwing a egg snap in there really makes the gliding action great, but dead walking this or just cranking it has got me several bites, and it is definitely worth it. Again, 9 inches and definitely not too big to throw in the Midwest. And I guess I'm going to scrap the going by size thing because I really want to talk about these. These are my favorite glides of all time, and I just knocked one of their boxes over. But Throwback Baits makes the Retro glide, and the other glide they make is the Metro. The Metros, they're small, choppy, fast, and smaller 7-inch glide. And this is the Skull Shad Metro glide. I have, I believe, size 2 quads on this, but this lure has caught, I would say this year, I caught over 100 fish on this. I mean, any video of mine you watch, this lure is in it. I've caught so many fish on it. Burning it on top, they eat it on top water. It's awesome. I fish it slow in the winter, or in this late fall, it was getting bit. I mean, this lure is just absolutely amazing. Anything Throwback makes is amazing. I really want to get a wake walker, but this lure is absolutely awesome. You guys need to get one. It is worth the money 100%. And I do have a second one. I got this one. This is the Southern Gill one, and I got this in, I believe, like mid to late October. So I'm really excited to use this next year. A lot of these baits I've gotten this late in the year whenever they aren't going to work here great. Right now we have several inches of ice and a foot and a half of snow, but as you guys will see in these clips where I'm showing off the lures, but these baits, the Metro Glide, it's 150 bucks one of these. They're 7 inches long. The action is so good. They're so worth the money, especially here in this where there's not a ton of huge fish. They work great, so definitely recommend them. The next bait is another one I just got also recently around Christmas, and this is a Roman made Negotiator. This is in the chartreuse color, and I am really excited to throw this in the spring whenever the water is muddier. In the summer, same thing when it's muddier. And as you can see, it's got this chartreuse color all around on the top and the bottom, and it's got this super good looking shad color on just the sides, the silver. So this will be better for dirtier water, and I'm excited to try it. Tried it out, the action's great, just now we've got to catch a fish on it. Next I'll go with two baits that I have had a ton of luck on, and I've only got one lip. Unfortunately I lost one not too long ago. But these are DRT Tiny Clashes. I have two of these. And I've got the Working Class Zero, the Joy Thief color, and I've got the Ultimate Baitfish color. The Ultimate Baitfish color, I had a fish that was probably 7 or 8 pounds eat this while I was dead walking it on a point in the summer, early summer, and it jumped off, unfortunately. I was, nothing I could really do. It was a super, super long cast, and he jumped me, but love dead walking these. It's super good, especially in the colder water here in Illinois. But got a little Bait Sanity lead strip on the bottom of each. Got a egg snap in both. Definitely makes the action better. But have caught a couple fish on the Joy Thief one. Just got it. I've used it quite a ton still though. But I've caught a ton of fish on this color. This color is great. Like I said, should have landed a 7 or 8 on it, but it was it jumped off. Next up we have the Bait Sanity Chimera Shad. Now this bait is like 7 or 8 inches I think, but it's got this gigantic tail on it. So I think it's 7 and then you got the tail, but pretty big. I'll throw it up next to the Clash 9 so you guys can get a look. It's big, but it's not as big as the K9. The action on this is great. It's super choppy. It is super huge turn like that. I upgraded the hooks on this thing. I've caught a few fish on it. It's all rashed up, but this is the Gizzard Shad color. Super good color. This thing's about 70 or 80 bucks, so it's not that expensive in the glide realm, but it is a great lure. I definitely recommend it. Excited to throw it, like I said, again this next time of year that I know more now what I'm doing. I'm not an expert by any means. I literally started this spring, so. Next I got a Gant Junr. I've caught an absolute billion fish on this. I've had this for like 5 or 6 years. I've literally had this thing for like since like 2019 I think. It is an amazing lure. Super small, don't need a glide rod to throw it, obviously starting conventional, but I've caught 100 plus fish on this and I haven't used it a ton. It just catches them. Now I'm going to move on to my soft baits. So the first two that I'm going to talk about are Working Class Zero Citizens. I have 2 packs of these. Now this is the 6 inch and the 7 inch. There's a huge size difference in these two as you guys can see right there. But this is the all white, one of the hookup tackle colors, and then this is the Killjoy color from just Working Class Zero. But absolutely love these. Have caught quite a few fish on the 6 inch and I've had a bunch of bites on the 7. Once again, got these super late in the year, late October. Haven't had a ton of chances to use them. So then we have the lure I've mentioned several times in this video. Forgot to mention this in the hard bait section, but this is the Spro Chad 180, and this is the perch color because they didn't have a beluga color at the time. I think they have one beluga color now that's available some places, but this thing, literally a pond machine. This thing is awesome, catches a ton of fish on it. And then next I've got a 6 and a 7 inch, or no, a 5 and a 6 inch burrito. These lures are great just for rolling them on the bottom. Have got this one snagged, and it took me 40 minutes to get on snagged one time, but I got it. But I've caught a bunch of fish on both of these, or not a bunch, a ton of fish on the 5 and a couple on the 6. I know my friend Evan loves the 6. So these are silicone too, so they're super stretchy. They're a soft bait, but they're not gonna tear. Next is the Raidosakana Slide. I got this in the summer and I've caught a ton of pond fish on it. The bottom where this back hook goes is a little destroyed, but I mean this thing just absolutely destroys them. It takes a little bit to get to learn how to fish it because it's a soft glide, so it's not super easy, but it is a line through. As you guys can see, the line comes out right there and the bait is not being thrown by the fish, but this thing is awesome. Definitely worth it. Then I've got a HUD 68 in the trout pattern. I've caught I think 1 fish on this. I've barely thrown it. I need to throw it more. I plan on throwing it this winter, but we've had a very cold icy winter, so a lot of the lakes are frozen. All of them are frozen besides power plants right now. Next we got another wedge tail. This is the Matt Lures Hammertail Gill, and I've not caught a fish on this. I want to throw it in the spring a bunch, but I think it'd be really fun to throw it on some docks in the spring. Next we've got a lure that just came out this year. This is the Dangerous Swimbait. It's basically a Magdraft, and instead of a Magdraft it's just it's got the top line through hook. But this one I caught 25 fish on it a day, and you guys will see in the up close, but it is destroyed. It is completely just destroyed. I've caught so many fish. I've mended it back together, glued it back together several times. It still works though. The tail's not gone, but here's a new one that I've caught like 2 or 3 fish on versus the super a beat up one. And this is both the 7-inch version. Then next we have a European bait, and this is the Pitch and Strike. I think it's the Raging Shad, but this thing is 9 inches long. I'll hold it up next to the canine for reference. Again, it's gigantic. It's a huge soft bait. I've just got like I think this is a 12-aught or it's a 10-aught beast hook in there, but I know a lot of guys just do bottom treble hook rigs of this because it's mainly a pike lure, but it is awesome. The action's great. Really want to throw this more, and I plan on doing that in the spring when there's not 5 inches of ice. And then last but definitely not least, because even Evan can catch fish on these baits, I've got 3 Magdrafts. Now this one you can kind of tell on this camera, but you'll see outside, this is a normal Magdraft like pre-rigged, and the tail was ripped half off 2 different times by a muskie when I was throwing this for muskie, and I've caught 2 or 3 on this lure. 2 muskie on this bait, it still works great. Caught a ton of bass on it. Then I've got 1 Magdraft freestyle, lost the other one, but this was also a pre-rigged one that a muskie ripped the bait off at my feet, and the muskie just had the hook in its mouth, so I took the harness out, and now I'm just using this as a freestyle one whenever I'm planning on using it. If I end up losing this one, I'll throw the beast hook in that one, because it used to be a normal one, but a muskie unfortunately completely destroyed it. But that is going to be it for today's video. Sorry for the lack of fishing content from right now, but it's 0 degrees. There's over a foot of snow here, and the ponds are iced over, lakes are iced over. Don't know what I'm doing ice fishing, don't have any equipment for it besides the auger, but gonna try that a little bit soon here, probably next week, try to make a video out of it. And I have footage from Canada, which my uncle somehow, after working on it for months by himself, sent it to a place, and they got a lot of the footage off. It's about half of the footage from Canada, and it's going to be just the chest cam because a lot of the third-person cam footage ended up slightly blurry or the lighting is wrong. So it's all scrambled too, so it'd be impossible to put it together, but it's going to be 2 or 3, maybe 4 videos of the Canada trip we had in the early summer. It was insane. Caught hundreds and hundreds of fish, smallmouth, pike, everything. So those videos will be coming up soon. Gonna try to go muskie fishing again soon, but it's been pretty insanely cold. So if you have any questions about any of these baits, what I think about them, in like further detail, just ask below. And thank you for watching.